Welcome back to Catholic Chat with Ken Shivers and Dr. Eric Warren on 98.1 Ablaze Radio.
Looking at Holy Spirit College, what was the biggie, or what was the one thing? Maybe there's more than one, but what seemed to be the thing that tipped the scale for you to really pursue this position as provost?
Yeah, I think it's the combination of things, right? Okay. It's the ability to build a really faithful Catholic institution in the city, to focus on pedagogically and content-wise what I think is more important, which is sort of this broader and deeper notion of classical education. And also the ability to be a very student-centered and student-focused institution. So because we're small, we can't help but have closer interactions with the students, right? We'll never be a huge, 40,000 student entity. We're going to be small. I like the idea of sort of small startup human scale interactions and culture, right? Yeah. And so what goes along with both of those things is this notion that higher ed itself, despite the fact that it's becoming more insular, and despite the fact that sort of businesses and companies and policymakers are pushing more people into college, right? Mm-hmm. You'll hear all the time numbers like by the year 2040 we're going to need 200,000 more people with college degrees for particular jobs, and that's all fine. But the particular model we're using for higher education is not sustainable, right? We've reached something over $1 trillion in student loan debt in this country, which is just seems amazing. It's monopoly money.
It's like countries don't even have that.
Right. And they're not, the return on it is not great, and it's really harming students' lives for a long time afterwards. So the other thing that I really like about Holy Spirit College is not just that we're student-centered in the sense that we care about what you learn and how you learn it. We care about your faith formation, but also we're very conscious of trying to build a new model that is sustainable for decades to come. Right? So to that end, we bring in faculty from various places. We don't have things like rock climbing walls and swimming pools and things like that. Although we are located on an absolutely beautiful campus here in Northwest Atlanta. So the building itself is amazing. But we're conscious of helping the students to get through and then to go on and live their lives. So we're going to do things, for example, like offering lower student undergraduate tuition. Right. So, for example, we've got a new program whereby students can sign up for a calendar year contract, and they'll to pay $750 a month for full-time undergraduate tuition.
Full-time.
Right. Which comes out to $9,000 a year.
Wow.
That is much lower than anywhere else. That you would find. Right. And the reason is, we're not in it to build a gigantic rec center or to line our own pockets, but to bring students in, form them in the faith at a really treacherous age for a lot of people, right? Yes. The years of 18 to 22 are really important in terms of your formation. You're kind of stepping away from home for the first time. So that's something that we take very seriously. It's not sustainable for people to plow up, $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 in student loan debt every year for 4 years or more, and then go off. No matter what you're going to do, that's damaging to your ability to sort of launch your life and build a family and all of those things, right? So that's undergraduates. We've also got graduate programs that are currently running. Even if you're not between the ages of 18 to 22, we have master's degrees programs in theological studies, theology, religious education, and then other sort of one-off classes. I'm teaching a a catechist certification class this
Okay.
semester right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So as far as graduate programs, we also have sort of a sister institution called Pontifex University. Their website is pontifex.university. This is a really interesting program offering a master's degree in sacred arts. Right? So we talked about practicality a couple times already. This is less practical but more interesting and more faith-based than a lot of things you could do. So it's a studio art class for people who want to study art that's done online.
Wow.
And my counterpart, the provost of Pontifex, lives in California and is an accomplished artist named David Clayton.
Okay.
And he runs Pontifex, and he runs a website called thewayofbeauty.org that has all kinds of interesting conversation about art and culture related to the Catholic Church. So that is something that people might be interested in as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So talk about the team that you've stepped in with, and some of the objectives, short term and long term.
Yeah. So on campus full time, there's me. We have a registrar who's been with Holy Spirit for a long time. Our vice provost, Chris Gustafson, comes to us from South Carolina, and he's taught a few classes for us here. And he's also right now teaching a class at St. Jude the Apostle on angels.
Oh, cool.
Right. So one of our short-term goals is to kind of take a little roadshow around parishes around the archdiocese and teach a class here and there
Yes.
to kind of introduce Holy Spirit College to different audiences. Our faculty come from various places. We've got some teachers from Holy Spirit Prep, which is right across the parking lot from us here.
And that's a traditional high school.
It's a K-12 school.
K-12. Okay.
Our teachers typically come from the high school, but yeah. We've got priests who are on our board. Father Josh Allen from Georgia Tech has taught classes for us in the past. So we're pulling from all over.
Right.
In the short term, what we'd like to do is grow all the programs. We're in a growth phase right now.
Yeah.
So we're looking for people who are interested as part-time or full-time master's degree students.
What degrees would
Yeah.
typically be what you would offer right away?
Sure. So we have three.
Okay.
We've got a master's in theological studies, which is coursework that leads to a degree where you study theology in various aspects. We've got a master's of theology, which is similar, but that degree is more geared toward someone who wants to go on and do a doctorate.
Okay.
So there's more writing involved in that one.
Yeah.
And then a master's in religious ed for people who are maybe teachers or want to be directors of religious education at a parish.
Okay.
So that's more coursework in sort of religious education aspects.
Those are the graduate.
Those are the graduate degrees.
Okay.
The undergraduate program, we are right now looking for undergrads who want to start next fall, so the fall of 2019.
Gotcha.
Those students, we have one approved degree, which is the Bachelor's of Philosophy.
Okay.
Right. Before that scares anyone off, right? Who might not want a bachelor's degree in philosophy. I talked down practicality a little bit a few minutes ago, but we have an eye toward practicality with that degree too.
Sure.
So everyone who comes through will get the bachelor's in philosophy or BPhil, but everyone will also choose one of three concentrations in that degree. And those three concentrations are classical Catholic education.
Okay.
So you might think of these as sort of bulked up minors. Right?
Yeah.
So the students who go through the BPhil with a concentration in classical education will take some classes in sort of teacher training, and they'll do an experience in a school setting before they graduate. The second one is business and entrepreneurship. So they'll take some classes in things like economics and some basic business classes, and they'll do an internship with a company of their interest somewhere in town.
Right.
And then the third one is kind of a more general liberal arts or social science degree called or concentration called philosophy, politics, and economics.
Okay.
Right. So this is sort of a broader or integrated social science sort of degree,
Yeah.
and it's based on a concept that started at Oxford University about 100 years ago.
Yeah.
There are programs around the country. The popular one right now is at Duke University, but they'll take extra classes in philosophy, politics, and economics.
Okay.
And they'll do kind of a bigger project as they finish up. We've also got some things in the works. I can't be too specific about it, whereby a student could do a couple of years here and then transfer all or most of their credits to another faithful Catholic college around the country.
Oh, wow.
Right? So if you want to do sort of your core classes here, and you were working some things out where you could take most of those to another place that might have another degree that you're interested in,
Sure.
a bigger institution. But you might want to live at home for a couple of years.
Yep.
Maybe you're not ready to sort of move out of state. Maybe you just want to save a lot of money before you go out of state.
Definitely.
Right? So like I said, we're in the business of helping students find what they want to do with themselves within the sort of bounds of a faithful Catholic institution. So while I would love to keep everyone for 4 years, our main goal is to helping the students figure out what they want to do with themselves and get there. And another thing I should mention is that we just this week were included in the National Catholic Register's 2018 Catholic Identity College Guide. We're one of only 38 colleges that made the list this year. So you can read more about that on our website. We put a news release out about the questionnaire we had to answer and the characteristics that got us on the list. But there's not a large number of schools around the country, but we were included for this year.
38.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Well, that's something we can be very proud of.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's a big recognition for us.
Coming up, Dr. Warren has advice for students on how to enroll and what to expect when they get accepted. When Catholic Chat continues on 98.1 Ablaze Radio.